Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the charts behind me, which are of a few that were requested. And so rather than waiting to go over these during Sunday's live stream or picking one of them to make a video on, I thought I'd do another rough cut requests. So I apologize, this video is not going to be edited, but I did want to put this out because, it's nice to support those who are requesting and who are engaged with the channel. And if one of these tickers does stand out to you and you'd like to see a follow-up on it, let me know in the comments down below. I would be happy to do that. And also, before I forget, make sure you like the video if you do enjoy this kind of content, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for the request and, for the engagement in the comments below. And so now I am going to get onto these tickers. The first one here, and I should note, I guess before I get into these, I am recording this on a Thursday, April 25th during market hours. So the prices that we're looking at, they're going to be changing, and the price, for the day, the candle will look a little bit different probably by the time you watch this. But anyways, getting into the tickers here, I'm going to first start with Limbach Holdings, which is ticker symbol LMB. Here, the current price is $42.92. Kind of odd that it's not moving because the market is open. I don't know if something's frozen here or something. Yeah, it's a little odd. But, I see some numbers moving. Okay, so there's nothing going on. That's too off. But anyways, 42.92, and just looking here on the daily chart, we can see that price has gone up and it has been consolidating, but it does look like it has hit this high of 52.96. Maybe that is a top and we will be seeing a pullback. But before I do get into the daily chart, I just kind of want to switch over to the weekly just to see what's going on with the chart. Maybe there are some levels here that price might be returning to in the long term. And also, it is good to see that there is some price action, some history, actually going back to, let's see, 2016, really, when we started to see this volatility following this. I'm not sure if this was before direct listing or something like that. But anyways, I'm going to draw a ray here, going from the highs over here to the highs here, just being approximate. And actually, that does look like maybe I could get away with doing a horizontal ray, and that would just be, yeah, I think this is actually more useful. It does put the dollar sign on the y-axis there, and so I'm just going to switch this over to the exact high, though. So $16.20. So I'm just going to click on that and edit this here, 16.20. And so I'm just going to lock that into place so it doesn't move. It's there for future videos. And, I do think it's pretty interesting. This high here, 1609, so it did make sense why I kind of clicked into that level before. 1609. And then we also saw this dip here. So this was, pretty interesting. Looking at on the weekly time frame, we do, get a close above that level here. And then unfortunately, so a close above that level, but there's no confirmation. The following week is a red week, pullback, again, no confirmation. And then here on this week, we get a close above this week's high, which was 1745. Here, get a close at 1790. That is confirmation of a break above that level. Then we get a pullback, a retrace to the scene of the crime. And then that is where price takes off. So I think that's a pretty cool level to be looking at, seeing that pullback. And from that retrace, we can see that price has gone up, even just a current price, 165% or so, but a maximum of about 228%. So that is pretty cool. I'm excited about that. And then let's see here from the highs over here. I don't really think that price is going to be pulling back to 1620, or at least not in the near term. Maybe, a year from now, it could be doing that. But looking at these highs, let's see, the high hit from this week was $37.71. So I'm going to adjust this to that level exactly, lock that into place. We do see here that we did get a breakout consolidation, a bull flag formed here before continuation higher, then a rejection from, this might actually be a level to be paying attention to as well. I think doing just like an even dollar number, because this is just kind of approximate, I'm going to do that at 46 bucks. And, maybe that is a level to pay attention to, that, maybe we get rejected from if price does continue higher, as it is green on the day, being up just 0.64% so far in the day. But that does represent, 27% move to the upside. So really not that crazy. Oh, and actually this is the weekly candle. I need to switch over to the daily here in a second. But I did want to put these lines on the chart. This one, breakout, move up, then pull back. And, now we're basically we have tested that level again, but I'm just now going to switch over to the daily time frame. Sorry about that hard t sound. It's interesting when I do record these videos, the for two is a very interesting sound recording. I can always spot it. Anyways, so we do have this level here, did pull back, break below it. And, I'm kind of wondering, is this maybe a head and shoulders pattern? I don't know. It's tough to say because we have seen, a lot of wicks, kind of a lot of noise around that. But, one thing that we could do that might be useful is maybe some Fibonacci retracements just to see. And I think this is not going to include all the levels. I'm just going to do a rough one here, add all of the levels back into it, and then I'll redo this retracement. It's just, to me, for me, as the artist drawing this stuff on the chart, it's more exciting to draw it when there are all of the lines there. And so I'm just going to do, from the approximate low here to the approximate high. Does look like we pulled back to the 786, right around $39 a share. And I'm actually going to color this yellow so it stands out a little bit relative to those other white lines that I've drawn. And so here, yeah, it did pull back to the 786. This may have been a good dip buying opportunity at $39. However, current price does look like it is struggling with the 618. That is at a price of right around $42. And so what I would look for is, close this week above $42 a share. If we can't get that, if we do pull back tomorrow or, maybe later today and close the week below $42, that would be suggesting some weakness. And, I would think that price could be pulling back more. But really, the thing that stands out to me with this chart is that we put in this, massive high here, about $53 have pulled back considerably from that. And given that we saw this resistance over here, let's look at the volume profile actually. Yeah, I guess there's not so much up here that I would think that could be pulling the price down. And actually thinking about it, we do have this gap up here. So the close on March 13th was $49.76, so right around 50 bucks. That being also, a psychological level. It is quite possible that price could be getting up to there to filling that gap, but it is also quite possible that the gap will be left behind, as that has happened and does happen. Just because there's a gap left, from last week or last month, doesn't mean it's going to be filled the following month. It could be filled 2 years from now. So I do think it is good to not be so settled on there is a gap to the upside, as it does look like we saw a bull flag here, but then it broke to the downside. And so that is a bull flag. I'm going to lock this into place just so it doesn't get too adjusted if I switch back over to the weekly time frame. But that is a bull flag at the top of this massive run. We also see the stock market in general selling off. And, let's see, what kind of company is LMB? This is a building system solutions company. Let's see, missions critical, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing infrastructure. It's an infrastructure company. And so I'm wondering, how will that be responding if we do, if we have entered into a bear market where price is pulling back? but with small rallies on the way down. And so, yeah, I mean, this to me, yeah, looking at this on the weekly time frame, I had just mentioned a bull flag. What we see here for this week that ended March 15th, we see a massive red candle being down almost 20% over the course of the week, being down 19.5%, and then consolidation. That to me looks like a bear flag. And so, taking a step back, looking at this on the weekly time frame, I think this is more likely going down than going up. So these levels that I have drawn over here, I do think price will likely be retesting 37.71, perhaps breaking lower than it. And so I would look for, a hold of 35.32. But like I said, I do think that we have kind of entered into, more bearish part of the market. We will be seeing lower lows and high and lower highs. So I do think that 35.32 will ultimately be breaking. Maybe we'll see a retest of 24.42. But I do think this support level here may be acting as support again. That's around $28. But ultimately, I mean, looking at this from the lows here, price is up. Let's see. Over 2,100% right there. And, I do think that, this midpoint, I think it's pretty convenient. That is a 50% retracement. So let's actually do a Fibonacci from here, going up to the top there. 50% retracement, yeah. I could see price going down to there, maybe getting to the 618. And actually, the 786 does seem to correspond somewhat nicely with this prior high here. We actually have a double top there. I think that would be super beefy support if price does return to that level. That, like I said before, is $16 a share. So yeah, I mean, I think that right now this is a little risky. Maybe it goes back up to $53, but maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I think that this is, like here, I'm going to remove some of this clutter here. Actually, I'm just going to remove that. This is on the weekly time frame. Yeah, that looks like a bear flag. Looking at this on the daily time frame, big drop, gap down. And, moving over. And so here, let's see, is there any divergence that we see on the weekly time frame here? Let's see. This is a higher high. And in the stock price, I should say, higher high in the stock price. Looking at the RSI, this here is 75.37. Over here, it's 72.49. So that right there was a tell. That is bearish divergence when you get a higher high in the price and a lower high, although, slightly lower high in the RSI. And then we did see a pullback. And so if I do get a measurement to that pullback, that's a 27% pullback. But then going to the current price, it's about 19% there. So this to me, I would not want to enter a position. If I was up in the position, I want to trim at least, take some profits, because it's quite possible that 50 to 96 is the high and we won't be revisiting it. So, those are my thoughts on that one. Hopefully that was helpful for you, but I am going to switch over to the next ticker, which is Montauk Renewables, ticker symbol MNTK, here trading at a price of $3.66 on the day, being down about 1.88%, almost 2% on the day. And so let's see about this. I think actually I'm going to switch over to the weekly time frame to get an idea of the history. And this to me, there's not that much history on it. It goes back to 2021. And really, a lot of stocks, a lot of companies, especially, whether it's EVs or renewable companies, this has it in the name, so I assume it's a renewable energy company. They were IPO'd, or direct listed, whatever, in, 2021. That was a bull market, lots of stuff going up. And, they have since bled a lot. And so this, hit a high of $20.78 in 2022, and we have since pulled back from there. And if we do look at the chart, while it doesn't have history going back here, maybe we could think of this as, a head and shoulders, but that left shoulder is kind of cut off because there was no history back here. Got a bounce here, move up, bounce here, then this like right shoulder, and, price is just going lower. And so this to me looks, in my view at least, a little too risky. I had just gone over the bearish divergence that we saw in LMB. Here, looking at this, we do see lower lows formed in the RSI on the weekly time frame here. This low was 27.49, then the lows over here. So these are lower lows in the RSI. There's no bullish divergence there. And so, there's just really not that much history to draw upon with this. But one thing that I can say, looking at this here, let's see here, this low for this week, $6.15. I'm going to adjust that so it is to the penny, or I guess I should say fraction of a penny right there. Lock that into place so we do have that. For reference, it does look like, that was the low here. We did get a bounce there, followed by a pretty nice rally going up about 76%, so looking pretty good there. And then following that rally, did get this massive candle drawdown of almost 40%, 39.98%. Sorry about that. Drawdown on 1 week, over the course of 1 week, and then a little bit of a bounce, and then tested that over here. With this drawdown, almost testing that level at $6.15. Now trading lower. It does look like we've seen, a good amount of down moves here, and then some consolidation, a bear flag, further down move, and now maybe some more consolidation. So with that being said, I do think there could be more downside to this. And, there's no potential support below current price. There's just nothing below it. It's only price discovery to the downside. And so, while I do believe in renewables, I am compelled by that sector. I do think that's an important part of our energy economy in the future, but it's not an all or nothing type of scenario. There's also going to be other, fossil fuel energies, nuclear, stuff like that. It's not just going to be wind, solar. And so that's a part of the market share, but that's not all of it as far as energy goes. And so, this might be going down much lower. But let's look at the daily time frame to get an idea of that. Yeah, here it does look like, let's see, down moves here, then consolidation. I think it's going to break lower. The all-time low, I believe, is $3.38. I think that's going to be retested. Even though, we see this bullish engulfing candle here, the candle for today so far, spinning top suggests indecision or a reversal. And, with this bullish engulfing candle, we could not close above the 23rd's high, which was at a price of $3.76. So getting a close yesterday at $3.73. Well, that's a bullish engulfing candle. There was not enough strength, not enough buyers to get the close above the previous day's high. And so while I don't know that this is necessarily confirming above any levels, yeah, actually, we could see this as, let's see, following this down move that was that occurred on April 16th, down move of over 12% on the day. Then we see the previous the highs that followed that. Let's see, the high on the following day, the 17th, was 364. The high on the next day was 364. So I'm going to put a line there at 364 because that is an important level. And I do think this will be a nice example of confirmation or lack thereof. I don't see that we've had confirmation. And so, well, this might look good. We got a close above 364 on the 23rd, closing at a price of 365. So that looks good. There's some potential there. But that high, 376, we could not get a close above that level, even though we did get a secondary close above 364. We could not get a confirming close above 376. And so my understanding of confirmation or confirming closes is that this level here is important. And to get a confirmation above that would be to negate any sign that this is a bear flag. And a confirming close is, well, first you need to close above the level. We got that on the 23rd. And then the confirming close is a close above that day's high. And so that high is 376. We need to see a close above 376 to confirm the breakout, to negate the bear flag. And right now we haven't seen that. What we see here is kind of a bull trap, that we see this bullish engulfing candle, but a close below that important confirmation level. Now we see red on the day. I could see a pullback. And right now, before, if we don't see a close above 376, this is going below 338. In my opinion, I might be wrong, but I see that as what's happening. If we get a close above 376, I think this is going higher, and I think it will probably, really, let's look at the volume profile here. We got this big volume shelf here. Price is, struggling to get above that level, and because of this consolidation here, that's really, we get this bearish stair step down moves here, consolidation, and then a break lower. And now that consolidation, the floor of that consolidation is now resistance. Tough to get above. Even though we see this gap here, there's no strength to get above that. And so that gap is based on, the close of April 15th at a price of $4.10. And so that is a gap. While we do have a wick going lower, gaps are really based on the closes, and there's a gap there, but there's no momentum. There's no strength. We don't see enough volume here to be pushing that higher. And while we have seen up moves, we did see, this bullish engulfing candle, but volume pretty much flat there. So yeah, unfortunately, I do think this one's going down as well. And with there not being any price action below 338, I think there's going to be price discovery to the downside. Maybe there will be a good time to establish a position, maybe $3. I just keep an eye on $3 a share. And before I do switch over to the next ticker, I'm just going to do a quick Fibonacci retracement here because this will include some levels to the downside. And so, yeah, the 1618 is right around $3.03, 303. Yeah, I think price could be going there. And the 2618 is at $2. Who knows? I would not want to be establishing a position in this, especially with the stock market having recently topped. If that starts to break that previous high, that previous all-time high, I could see, maybe some more risk-on plays. But this one seems a little too risky for me. At least, I don't want to be establishing a position in it. But maybe if I had a position, I'd want to average down. But yeah, I feel like it's going down to $3 a share, unless we do get a close above let's see, what number was that? 376. So I'd look for a close above that, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm sorry. And so now I'm going to switch over to the next ticker, which is Unity Group, ticker symbol UNIT, currently trading at a price of $5.56, being down about 2.7% on the day so far. Here, looking at the daily time frame. So I'm just going to take a step back again, look at the weekly time frame to get an idea of where price has been. And again, this is price discovery to the downside below 262. However, price is, basically 100% above that. Let's see, let's get over 100%. Well, let's see, they're 133. Yeah, because that would be like a 524, currently above that. So yeah, let's see levels that stand out to me on the weekly. I'm just going to draw, this level here seems like it was important, at least back in time. Here you got this consolidation here before the big run up. So the low for this week, 2019, $3.60. So I'm just going to adjust that level to 360 and put that on there. And let's see. And I'll just out of curiosity, what was the rally like following that bounce? Over 200%, 220%. That's pretty nice. Wow. But then we do see this lower low here. And with that, the lower low, we can consider the RSI. We also do see lower lows in the RSI. So there's no bullish divergence there, unfortunately. And then also we can look at the highs here. Well, this high is not necessarily in. so far we do have lower highs in the stock price, lower highs in the RSI. So there's no divergence. That would be bearish divergence there. So, there's no divergence either way. So maybe there's some potential here. And a thing that does stand out to me about this that does look good, we have been forming higher lows and, even, yeah, higher highs as well. And so what I could do with this is, I could do a trend line, but I might just try a parallel here, going from the low here, 262, try to get that to the penny, and then the low here, let's see, that was 387. If I can get that to, I'm going to have to adjust this. Almost okay. And then this high here, or maybe, I want to go to the highs here. There's a little bit of a breakout there, we could say. So the high here was, let's see, 583 right there. But I'm just going to adjust that second one to be the low, which was 387. Okay, 387. So that is marked, should be just right. And so we do have this nice, parallel channel here. I wish, one of the things I don't like about Webull, which is what I'm using to chart this, is it doesn't include the midline. I would like that. Wish it was on here. But with that being said, we have been stair-stepping up. And so I could see a bounce. Maybe I adjust this. Did I lock it? Yeah. I can adjust it so we've got, maybe, yeah. Like rather than doing this on the lows, let's see. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to, okay, so that is 362, I believe. And yeah, I mean, this looks like it's getting ready for a bounce, or, it's maybe participating is in that bounce. But, this is the first test of that level, second test of that level, third test of that level, but of course, as you've seen, I can wiggle the parallel around, so maybe take it with a grain of salt. But this is the fourth test of that level. I could see that as, being a little bit risky. Maybe it could be breaking below that level. And let's see, volume profile, just out of curiosity, does look like there's some support below it. And I can draw, from, really, I'm going to do it based on the close from this week that closed on December 30th. Let's see, of 2022. That close was 473. So I'm going to adjust that line to 473. It's actually already there. Lock it into place. And the reason why I chose that level is because we have 4 wicks here going below that level. That suggests there's still some support below it. Maybe that's significant. And that does also correspond with like the peak in this volume profile, or the base of it. Actually, I adjust it, the axis a little bit, and that volume profile shifts. But anyways, let's see. There's support below. And let's see, I'm just going to throw that up. But if we do get to that level, I mean, this could be like a stop loss level, 473, in my view. But maybe it would bounce there, get a double bounce. And actually, yeah, what I could see is if this breaks below this uptrend, it could pull back to 473, maybe get a bounce, break up or move up to the scene of the crime, which is that uptrend. If it breaks below that uptrend, goes to 473, bounces, and then gets rejected from that scene of the crime, retracing to that uptrend, and then pulls back and breaks lower. So maybe there's a potential swing here. If it does break, maybe it gets a bounce from 473. I'm actually a little more compelled by that, but then I do think that it would bounce up maybe to like current price, right around there, and then pull back and get rejected. So, I find that intriguing. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see, divergence, because we do have higher highs in the price as well as the RSI going up to here. And then also, higher lows in both the price and the RSI. So I don't see anything with that. And I'm just this is on the weekly, so I got to switch over to the daily. Yeah, so we did get a bounce off of that level, but it's a weak bounce. This is, earnings are coming up. This is precarious. I would not want to be trading this right now with earnings coming up on May 3rd. Let's see. This, let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is an uptrend. Uptrends tend to break to the downside. this bounce. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at the volume. Okay. So here, you got to move all the way up to like 650. And this is the volume that stepped in to propel that up that high. Not that much volume. Got a lot of movement there. And then here, now you see all this volume, all this massive volume. And we're getting these big wicks. And so these wicks tell me the top is in. I think that this is going to be breaking. I'd look for it to be closing before May 3rd below these lows. So the low here was 524, low over here again 524. Both of those days, that seems like it's a pretty important level. So I will be marking that here. And I could see that if price is below 524 before earnings, that would also be below this uptrend, which of course could be wiggled around. It's not an exact line. But I would think that that's below support, and it's probably going down following earnings. And with that being said, I think it's going down to 473. So I don't have any puts. I don't have any position on this or anything. I'm not short it. But I would think that if this is below 524 before earnings, that you can make a little bit of money shorting this down to 473. But then I would expect a bounce there. And I do think that it would return to this uptrend, but I think it would get rejected there. And then that would be the beginning of, and looking at this on the daily time frame, we see higher highs in the price, higher lows in the price. That's good. We're still seeing higher lows in the price, but now we're seeing a lower high. This is a break of that trend of bullish moves, and I think this is breaking to the downside, and I think the earnings is going to coincide with a retrace to 473. But what I should do, maybe do a Fibonacci retracement from the low here, 262. I'm going to adjust this to be to the penny, so just give me a second with that. Let's see. I got those highs and lows. Yep. Okay. So I can see the highs and lows. Oh, dang it. I don't want to unhide that. I actually want to adjust the color of this to yellow. And then I'm going to adjust the low to 262, as I had just mentioned, was the low back there. And then the high was 654. So I'm going to do that right here. And from this, what makes sense here? What stands out? A pullback to the 50% retracement. This was support here. That is at 458. That's lower than the level that I identified at 473. But really initially, I wonder if it's going to be testing the 382 before earnings. That's at a price of $5.04, right around $5 being a psychological level. If it maybe bounces there and then pulls back up to like 524, but if it is below 524 before earnings, I think it's going down. And, maybe it's going to be pulling back to 473, maybe the 50% retracement at 458. But yeah, this could be, I think that the trend of higher highs has broken. And so I think it's going down. And I don't know which level here it will be going down to. No idea. Maybe this 618 at 412 does look like there was a nice bounce here right around $4 a share. Maybe it finds a bottom there. And I could actually see, what I could see with this is maybe a pullback down to the 50% retracement. That's at $4.58. And maybe from that, we would see a bounce, maybe back up to the 236 at 561, right around current price. And then that would be putting in, unfortunately, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And then from that, this is speculating. I have no idea what's going to happen with this one in the future. But if I take a measurement from the top here to that 50% retracement, the math on this is going to be easy. If that is the break, that would then be coming down to a full retracement. 50%. A measured move, 50% again, that's 100%. I think this could be coming down to 262. Maybe this is the time frame that would happen in. So I'd say by October, this could be at 262. And maybe there's a dip buying opportunity there. Maybe that's, an opportunity to buy puts dated with a strike in October of 262, maybe $3. Maybe I'll look into that. Actually, I'll look into that now. I don't really look into options much on the channel, but let's see. There is nothing for October, but let's see September, and I want to look at puts here. Let's see, a $3 put currently costs $30. So you gotta risk $30 to buy a put for this to go down to $3 a share. I don't want to risk $30 on this. I don't really know anything about the company. Maybe go to November, give a little bit of wiggle room. That would be risking $20 for a $3 put. I find that more intriguing. Also, you put down $20 for the buy, and if you were to sell it just flip it, you'd lose 50% right away. And so considering that with the September $3 puts, you buy it at $30. If you were to flip it right away, you'd sell it for $5. I'm not good at mental math. So that's like you list like 15%, you get back 15%, something like that, of your position. So that's a pretty big loss right there. So the September one seems a little more risky to me. I could see price going down to $30. It also gives you, a month. So, maybe I probably won't because I don't really mess around with options too much, but I'm intrigued by buying a put for $3 that expires November 15th, risk $20, and I could see there being some volatility following earnings. Maybe it doesn't go down to $3, but I could see that happening if, this hypothetical speculative head and shoulders pattern does play out. I could see it coming down to $3 by the fall. But I could, of course, be wrong. No recommendation there. That's just, speculative thought exercise. And with that, I'm going to now switch over to Vuzix, which is ticker symbol VUZI, here trading on the day at a price of $1.31.5, being down almost 2% on the day, having a bounce recently at $1.10. And that looks like it was following earnings. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to switch over to the weekly time frame to see what we got here before I jump into stuff. And yeah, one of the things, this has been beaten down so much, was at 32.43. Let me guess, 2021. Yeah, that's the height of that bull market. And let's see, the lowest price that it has ever been, 86 cents. So I'm going to draw a line from that low because, in all honesty, price might be going back there. So I think it's good to brace for that. And, with this being listed on the NASDAQ, it needs to hold above $1 a share. If I was a short seller, which I am not, I would, have a challenge with my buddies. I would say, hey, I'm going to short this down to $1. And then I'm going to force them to have a reverse split. My buddies say, nah, it's not going to happen. Like you guys are probably saying, nah, it's not going to happen. And believe it or not, months from now, I think that this will be trading below $1 a share because, short sellers, they're little people, and they like to drive companies down into the ground, and they're going to try their best to do that with this one, with it trading right around, $1 a share. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe the bottom's in, but I could see that. And let's see. I do think, let's see, volume profile. We're below this, prior consolidation that we've seen. Yeah, this is in new low territory. So, we got this like consolidation over here, 177. We're below that. And so there's, a roof above the current price. So I think that this is going to have a tough time moving higher. Also, this consolidation over here, yeah, look at that. Going back to here, that had served as support here. This is like, little bull flag, bigger, really extended bull flag. Actually, that broke to the downside. It couldn't break above, really here. Break out to the downside, or break below to the downside, which was a fake out before this massive rally up. Let's look at this just to, get an idea of the FOMO that was experienced back here. This represents a move to the upside 816%, so pretty impressive there. I'm just going to delete that though because we don't need it. And I will mark, let's see, actually, this is intriguing because we got these. I'm going to escape from this so I can draw this a little better. We have a high here, 308, 308. I'm going to mark that right around the psychological level of $3 a share. And so, while this is an approximate level, that was resistance here. Then, let's look at this as far as confirmation goes. Yeah, so this is actually really, really interesting because, here we've got this high at $3.08. We need to see a close above it. And so here we're struggling. We can't get a close above it. Finally, this week, we get a close above it, but we get this wick high at $4.32. And so to confirm above that level, $3.08, to confirm that breakout, we need to get a close above the week that closed above. So this is maybe a little confusing. So this breakout, we saw a close above that level, but we needed to see a confirming close above that to confirm that breakout, and that would be a close above $4.32. And so what's this close at here? $4.39. So that was a confirming close above that. But it just seemed like it was kind of milking investors. I don't know what's going on here. But I just couldn't hold it. But we did not get any retests below that. So this is all, great time to be accumulating before that 816% move up. And so, yeah, anyways, I think that those are two levels that are important. One of them is above us. That's going to be key resistance, as it was, approximately support over here with the lows, being at like 350 or so. And then, break below that. So I do think that is an important level to be contending with. And also that was support here before the break lower. And it's just been fading since. So $3, I think that's an important one. Anyways, getting back to the chart here, the daily time frame. Maybe I should probably do actually, I don't know that the Fibonacci retracement would be that useful. I said I think it's going down to sub $1 a share. Unfortunately, there is this gap up here. Maybe that would be filled. Maybe that's some hopium, but it's not. It's just been fading. And here, let's see, we've got lower lows in the stock price. The RSI has been putting in higher highs, and so this, lower. This will just, whether it's a lower low or just just starting from here. We have this low here. And then the RSI is at 2167. Here we get a lower low, the RSI here, 2895. So while we're putting in a lower low at the price, we're putting in a higher low in the RSI. That's bullish divergence. I would think that this is going to rally. But then we continue to put in, let's see. Yeah, actually, maybe I'm making the case for the bottom being in. Let's see. So this is actually, no, I think that this is just fading. And what we see here is we actually see a higher high in the price here. And no, actually that's a lower high. I don't know what I'm talking about. So this high from March 1st was at a price of $1.80. This high was at a price, and this is at April 8th, was at a price of $1.65. So that's a lower low in the price. And the RSI here, let's get that little circle there, 52.70. And then here, 60.47. So while we're putting in lower highs in the stock price, we're putting in higher highs in the RSI. That is hidden bearish divergence. And so I think, with that being said, price did go lower. It did bounce. But let's think about this bounce here. We were not able to, is there any significance to where price? Yeah, there's like this gap up here in the price action. And let's see, what's that correspond with? Just price hasn't really been around there. And so with that being said, couldn't get above that level, got this wick here. Let's actually remove that volume profile and just think about the candle patterns here, the wicks here. So we get this wick high. So following this down move, we're getting consolidation. So we want to know, is this a bear flag Or are we going to negate that bear flag pattern by getting a confirming close above key levels and then start moving higher? And so following this down move, we see a wick high here, the high on the day. And really, we could even think about this as so following this down move, we see this wick high at $1.31. So I'm going to draw a line at $1.31, just kind of, as a thought experiment. All right, what we need to see now is a close above $1.31. That could potentially be a breakout, but not a confirmation above that, because this is establishing that level as one we need to confirm above. And so we do get a close above that level on April 22nd, closing at a price of $1.35. So that's good. But now we need to see a close above $1.36, which was the high, just 1 penny above that. We need to see a close above $1.36, and that's actually, not a big ask, because we get a break above that. We just need to get 1 penny higher, not a big deal. And so here we get a close on the 24th of $1.34, closing a penny below. We need to see a close above $1.36. We have not yet seen that, so I feel like this is a fake out breakout hitting the high on, that was Tuesday, I guess, Tuesday the 23rd, hitting a high of $1.42. We keep putting in these wicks that are higher. So this wick was here. We see a wick that's higher here at a price of $1.36. I'm not even factoring that in, but that is, the high that was hit here as well. So $1.36. That's just a very important level. We need to get closes above $1.36 because we have 2 wicks going up to that level and we can't see it. We're not holding. I think that if we can't close this week above $1.36, this is a bear flag and it's breaking lower. I think that Monday we might see a big candle down if we're not getting a close above $1.36 this week. So, I'm sure it sucks. I think for pretty much all of these, I'm bearish on them. But, that also could just be like market sentiment with stock market topping and, seeing a pretty big pullback, seeing a bounce, but then also seeing that continue down. So it's a lower highs in these things. As we see in the chart right here, it's a lower high. I think that there are even if there are some bullish signals like a bullish divergence, I think it's overshadowed by the number of bearish things, whether it's with these individual stocks or whether it's with, the market as a whole. I think all of these are going lower. I think that VUZI is probably going to $1 a share, and I think it's probably going to be breaking lower than 86 cents. They might have to have a reverse split, and so maybe if there's a reverse split, maybe there'd be some volatility around that to pick up some shares, swing it. But, those are just my thoughts. I'm sorry that they're all bearish, but if you did find my thoughts helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know which of these tickers you'd like to see me do a follow-up on. I'd be happy to do a follow-up video on the individual ticker, maybe add it to the list of rotating stocks that I cover, on an approximate weekly or bi-weekly basis, try to repeat the ones that get a lot of views. So, thank you for the request. I hope this was helpful for you. And yeah, I will follow up with other requests on Sunday's Ticker Request Live, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune into that for more casual, stock analysis like this. Thanks a lot for joining. Take care.